Today's adventure of the day was kind of unexpected. My cousin actually notified me last minute that she was able to do a voiceover project or sort of voiceover session with me that we've been planning for a while. So we finally got to do that today, and it was actually a really fun experience. I thought that I haven't had that much fun doing a project in a very long time. So I definitely want to try to do that more. And my cousin's very fun. She brings a very fun energy that a lot of my other interactions with friends and whatnot doesn't necessarily have, just because me and my cousin grew up together. So we have this bond and closeness that is special. So voice acting in a movie one day is one of the things on my bucket list, and I have not really made much progress with it whatsoever at all. I'd say I made more progress today in this 5-hour session than I have in my entire life. And I say that just because I actually took the time to research the steps on how to voice act and what the resources are out there. There's a Reddit subgroup that I should try to get the terms right. It's a subreddit, which is our voice acting, I believe, and it has resources where there's guides on what to do and what the most popular websites are and stuff like that, how to sign up. And those are a lot of the steps that me and my cousin did. But I'd say the part that made it fun was when we actually decided to create or practice, basically, just practice. The first goal is to get enough skill to create a demo reel for the different aspects that we're interested in. So for instance, commercial ads, animation or anime, stuff like that. That's definitely one me and my cousin are very interested in. There's also documentary and so on. So basically, we need to create a demo reel for each of those categories. But first, we need to practice. So me and my cousin, since we have that shared interest of doing animation stuff, we decided to use ChatGPT to just cook us up a script, mostly dramatic battle scene type of scripts where me and her are fighting each other. And we just reenact or, we just voice act the script that we're given by ChatGPT. And I think this is where ChatGPT really shines. This is probably one of the first uses of ChatGPT where I felt it was super useful, something I could not do on my own. I used it for some coding back then as well. That was very useful. So maybe this is the second time that I felt I could continuously use it for this, because whenever I looked up stuff on Google, it took me to websites and a lot of lists people created, and it's just a lot of browsing and time taken by just figuring out this specific, I want this specific scene, and I want it to be dramatic. I want it to be a guy versus a girl because me and my cousin. And then I also want some sort of betrayal. I want the characters to be a little bit insane, change it up, make them friends, make them enemies, make them villains, all that stuff. It's you can just ask ChatGPT to do it and it does it for you. And it's fun stuff. It's not boring. It's pretty interesting. And it's not we're commercializing any of it. It's basically just us practicing. So it's just fun. And that was the last hour. If the whole thing was 5 hours altogether, we had breaks in between. The last hour was us doing that. And I had a whole lot of fun doing it because we were going back and forth with the dialogues. And it's just something I feel I could easily get into. I'd say it was maybe my second time really actually trying to voice act. But I felt because I have a whole lot of voiceover experience for a good 4 years, I was able to control my voice in a way that made me satisfied with what I recorded. And it sounded authentic, the emotions, I felt it, even though, I'm trying to judge myself objectively, of course. Some people judge themselves harshly. Some people are too lenient on themselves. But for me, I feel I tried my best to be objective, and I was still happy with the recordings. It felt super fun, and I would easily post them for fun or something like that. So that was this spontaneous adventure, basically, just a little voice acting escapade that me and my cousin went on. And I found it really enjoyable, probably more so because I was doing it with another person. This is something I've always sort of understood about myself, is that I like having those social interactions and I enjoy the collaborative spirit. So I know it's something I want to integrate more into what I do, but I also think the things that I do right now are kind of geared towards solo work. So I got to figure out that balance. Either way, let's move on from the adventure to what I learned today. And honestly, I don't really think I have much for this one other than just really going for the things that like you want to do in a structured and thought out way. So the first step is always to just do research. And then usually when you do research, somebody wanted to do what you wanted to do at some point, and then they give you the steps on how to do it. And then you just kind of follow the steps. Like all the resources are out there if you look hard enough. And we didn't really look that hard. So what I'd say is just taking the time and energy to really follow the steps is the hard part, and to just follow through. Even the kind of boring stuff of like signing up and writing the description and all that stuff, it's necessary and part of the process. And it helps to have someone else there to do it with you because it makes it more fun. It makes a mundane process more interesting. But yeah, that's the lesson I can glean from today is just like do the research, find the steps, perform the steps. And you'll probably make a lot more progress that way than just watching a whole bunch of tutorials or a bunch of stuff where people talk about the craft and talk about like stuff, I guess. Like that's what I did before. I watched a lot of stuff where voice actors talked about voice acting, and that's not really doing anything. I guess you're sort of getting an idea of like you're getting their tips, you're learning from them in a way, but that's nowhere near as good as just like doing the research to find the steps and resources and just like following those steps immediately, in my opinion. And I guess, in research, the way you do it, it kind of matters a lot because like you don't want to get into that rabbit hole of like just constantly saying, oh yeah, I'm researching, I'm learning because I'm watching these videos about voice acting and just getting tips from them. But that's not really actually doing research. That's sort of just like feeling good about the process and feeling like you're learning and improving, but you're not because you're not actually doing it. So I guess just watch out for that, because that is definitely what I did before. And having actually gone through the real steps of like practicing and creating those accounts, getting ready to like create demo reels to put myself out there and actually get gigs. That's like next, like actual steps. Anyways, lucidity check. I actually finally did the check in the morning. I read the whiteboard. I don't think I'll talk about it today, but it's just, I'm still reforming it. It's just like reminders to myself of like how I should conduct myself throughout the day. And I redrafted it because the last time I touched it was before Japan, and I feel like certain things have changed. So, but overall, like I'm glad I reviewed it and just looked at it. And today's lucidity levels, I'd say, are pretty high. I'm feeling pretty like in line with myself. I got to actually run today despite my knees being damaged. They're not too damaged. They've healed a bit, enough where I can run. And that felt good. And let's talk about habits. I did my piano stuff. Everything was good. In terms of kinetic or physical routines, every habit was good. Push-ups, pull-ups, running, water. I'm doing my water challenges slightly different now. I'm not doing 3 liters anymore. I find it to be a bit much. And I'm going for like a thing where I just drink 500 milliliters of water in like one gulp or one sitting. And I do it 4 times a day. That leads me to 2 liters of water. And then if I just eat meals while drinking some water, that should bring me to around 2.5 liters a day. But overall, just like making sure that I drink 2 liters is good enough, I'd say. Like that's what I did today. And I felt like my pee, because there's apparently like a urine color chart, my pee was the correct color. Maybe even sometimes a bit too much on the clear side, because apparently if it's too clear all the time, you're drinking too much water, you might be washing out electrolytes and overhydrating apparently. So if I'm at that level where I just drink 2 liters of water, then I'm pretty much good on the hydration side. And I'll make like a video regarding, finding the right water level for myself personally, because it's very different for everyone. And the urine check and everything, I guess, seems to be what everyone's going by. Personally, for me, I prefer going off of feeling rather than just like seeing the color of your urine, because even if it is clear, which it was when I did the water challenges back then, like I felt close to no negative side effects from being apparently overhydrated. So I'm pretty skeptical about that urine color thing. I would look into it more, but I don't feel like it. No practice for Japanese today. I'll definitely get to that tomorrow. And then tomorrow's adventure is essentially already planned because it's going to be the one that I talked about yesterday. And that is essentially to just get some videos about my Japan experience finished so that I can move forward fully. That's pretty much it for this one.